Hello and welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who is as awesome as the weekend from July 30th to August 1st in 1999 when Runaway Bride and Deep Blue Sea hit the theaters and shall forever be called Runaway Shark. It's David Cross.
Oh, what a amazing deep cut, Mark. Perfect for the Movie, Films, and Flicks podcast. Whoa, love it.
I was working
Love
at
it.
theater at the time, David, and I will never forget this weekend. I was at Crossroads 8 in St. Pete, and the I worked all day Saturday, Sunday, Friday. I'm telling you, the lobby, you couldn't, every single concession stand had people in it, like workers, and the lines were long. Every single ticket booth had a line. The theater was absolutely packed because Runaway Bride, like, did 35 mil, Blair Witch Project did 29 mil, Deep Blue Sea did 19 mil, Haunting did 15 mil, Inspector Gadget did 14 mil, and then American Pie is still doing 7, Eyes Wide Shut 4, Big Daddy 3.5, Phantom Menace 3.4, Tarzan 3, and this is $1999. So, I mean, they were in a, weren't even like, Runaway Bride was only in 3,000 theaters too. So you got it, like, nowadays it's 4,400. So I'll never forget the chaos of this weekend, David. I'm not including it in my MFF Barbenheimer duo, but I feel like you would appreciate it because it was Julia Roberts in her pomp. It was Rennie Harlan and genetically modified sharks being beautiful. So yeah, Runaway Shark weekend.
You named movies, and I've seen all of them. Every last one of those movies. And I saw several of them in the theater. This was like one of my peak movie going times in my teenage years when I had literally nothing to do and couldn't go anyplace. So we went to the movies up in Kenwood Mall.
Yeah.
I remember really liking The Haunting, actually. I haven't seen it since it first came out, but I did like it.
Dude, big budget Jan de Bont. Come on now. Why not? Liam Neeson's, Catherine Zeta
Yeah.
Jones, Owen Wilson. Good cast.
I forgot Owen Wilson was in that. Owen Wilson also in Armageddon for like 4 seconds.
Oh wow. He was in some banger. Like he hit the indies, he hit the big ones. But yeah, Runaway Shark. So David, this was your idea for this episode. Do you want to explain it?
Yeah. So essentially, I think everyone who's listening knows Barbie and Oppenheimer came out a few weeks ago. Giant, giant success on both ends. And people were discussing, were they going to Barbenheimer? Were they going to go and watch Barbie and Oppenheimer back to back? And that started the wheels turning in my head, started the film turning in my head. And I was like, I want to find out other movies that opened the same day, same weekend, I guess. And, we want to ask the question, does it Oppenheimer? Would we sit through a double feature? And not just that, Mark. I want to know which one would we make disappear forever?
Whoa, that's brutal.
It could be. It could be.
I'd have picked a terrible one to make my life easier. I picked some fun ones here. Oh, but I like that. I like your style. I like your moves.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm going to just be really upfront about this. I thought this would be an easy assignment. This was way, way harder than I thought it was going to be. And what ended up happening, like, there's all these websites out there that talk about movies that are competing against each other, but a lot of them aren't accurate. I ended up in oh my God,
Box Office Mojo.
Box Office Mojo. I found a way to sort everything by year, by date, opening date, and then I looked at only wide releases. So
me too. I didn't do one theater, two theater. I did when it expanded.
Exactly. Yeah. So my criteria was they have to open on the same day, and they have to be a wide release. And it was hard. I started in 1980 and started to move forward, and I quickly realized that was too much to go through. So I started hopping around.
I'm not going to say that every single one of my films had wide releases, but I picked when they had their widest release or when they expanded. But it's funny when Nick Rehack and I did the Tron Legacy Purple Rain soundtrack draft, I was like, this will be easy. But then I learned that every single song from the Purple Rain soundtrack could be a book. Like, you could write a book about it. And the amount of research I did for that episode. And then one time with Zanandi, we're like, hey, let's pick our favorite 21st century horror movie moments. And it almost killed me. So yeah, this one was fun. And I actually came up with a theme for mine. We'll get to it because I know you have some questions, but I came up with a theme for mine that I'm pretty happy with. And I think they came up with some unique movies. I have a couple stock ones, but I have a few funkers that I really like.
Yeah. So actually, let's actually get into that because I didn't pick the obvious ones. Like, there's some really, really obvious ones out there, and I'm gonna bet you didn't either, Mark.
I did with one.
Okay.
Dark Mama.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
that for me. That's the big one, right?
Yeah. And but here's the thing: like The Dark Knight and Mamma Mia released on what July 18th, 2008. They're big hitters, man. Like gigantic movies. I mean, Dark Knight made a bill. Mamma Mia pulled in what 610 million. And also, I think why Mamma Mia really works is what Phillida Lloyd directed it. She directed Mamma Mia, and then Nolan directed Dark Knight. So I like that there's the male female director combo, and they were both giant. They both had big pedigrees. One's a big,
Mhm.
loud Broadway adaptation. The other one's a comic book adaptation. So for me, I just love Dark Mama, and I actually, in general, love the Mamma Mia movies. I think the second one is really good, and I've listened to the soundtrack more times than I can remember. And it's just I had to like, and you know me, I'm normally funky, and we'll get to those, but I just had to include Dark Mama. I had to.
Okay. I appreciate that. Let's wait to get really into that because
Okay.
I want to start our conversation today about double features, just double features. And I'll go first. I'm a highly caffeinated person and I fidget a lot and I struggle to do more than one movie. Like I haven't seen two movies back to back and I'm talking decades. I mean, maybe outside of drive-ins. Like I can do a drive-in, but I'll also maybe walk away and walk around. But I can't do two movies back to back.
Yeah, I'm not a two movieers either. I think, because you sit in a theater and you just sit in that feeling, and then you got to go to another one. There's a different experience when you sit in a theater and just watch the movie, and it can be exhausting, it could be fun, it could be disappointing, and so then to jump to the other one, I rarely feel like you give that second film a chance. So yeah, I'm not a double header. I can't think. Like you said, a drive-in. I used to go to the drive-in. I watch Captain America, Winter. No, the first Avenger at the drive-in with another movie. I watched Final Destination 5 at a drive-in with another movie, and those were cool, right? You could just kick it, watch some movies. But yeah, so I didn't do it. I went and watched a press screening of Oppenheimer. Then I went to a 9 a.m. screening of Barbie on a Friday morning, so my wife Megan could go and still work. But it's watching those back to back. Like after watching Oppenheimer, David, I just wanted to sit in it. Like I just wanted to sit in Oppenheimer. And Barbie too. Like after we left Barbie, I wanted to talk about it. So if you go to a doubleheader, you can't really chat about. Oh, actually, I did a doubleheader this year. I did Dial of Destiny and then Asteroid City. That wasn't bad because
Wow.
Asteroid City's awesome and Dial of Destiny's fun. And I had to drive from one place to the other. So maybe that's like a recharge. But yeah, that was like my one double header this year. I did.
Yeah. So I agree with you because when I watch a movie, I like to think about it afterwards. And for me, I'm not able to think about that first movie because I'm watching the second and then I forget about the first movie. So I want that time to digest it, to think about it, to form opinions so I can eventually come on Movie Films and Flicks and rant about them. But I did want to mention there was a time in my life when I was Barbenheimering. We're going to turn that into a verb. When I was a freshman at Ohio State, I lived in the dorms and they didn't have air conditioning. So
Oof.
and when it got super hot out, we would go buy a single ticket to watch a movie and then we would movie hop. We didn't care what we were watching. We just wanted to be in the air conditioning.
I mean, that's fair. And you're a teenager too. Like you're capable. Like you're not too busy. It's hot. You have no much. You don't really have much money to go anywhere else. Summer in Ohio's can't be fun.
Well, not in the cement brick
Yeah.
dorm
Yeah.
rooms, no AC. It was horrible.
When it's cold, I know you probably had heat. Like when I feel like brick. Like whenever you shoot in a parking garage, right? When it's cold, it feels like a refrigerator. And when it's hot, it feels like a microwave oven. Like it has the concrete has that ability just to mess with your brain and absorb those the cold or the heat. So I get it, man. Smart
And it's
move.
always wet because that's what you need to do in filming in
Yeah.
garages. You got to spray it down,
It's like
make it look shiny and good.
how'd the rain get in over here? Like it's crazy.
That's funny. That's such an inside movie joke, but it's real. Check out whenever you're in a parking lot. There's always water. Do you want to get into this?
Yeah, yeah. Let's do it. Okay. So I went with Dark Mama. I don't know if I need to go into it too much more because it's just such a
Mhm.
big double header. So I'll say that was my first. And do you want to take your first right now?
Yeah, we can you dived into that really good. The Dark Knight is one of the few movies I've saw back to back. So like I saw it on Friday and I saw it on Saturday opening weekend.
Oh wow.
I loved it so much. I had no plans to do that. I just did it. So yeah, that's a really, really good one. And I think that's probably the biggest Barbenheimer in the last since the 2000s.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean 15 years.
yeah, it's a great pick. I think that's the heavy hitter in the room.
I had to.
Um,
Like sometimes
I
it's
would,
just nice. Like when you're doing hotels, you got to take The Shining. Like you just
oh
got to
yeah,
like just
absolutely,
get it out of
absolutely.
the way, and then you can
And
go
I
funky.
love Dark Mama. Okay, because now it's got me thinking. I'm gonna have to come up with names for all of mine as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. So for my first attempt, my first double feature, I'm taking you back to June 4th, 1982, when Poltergeist and Star Trek II Wrath of Khan released on the same day. And we're going to call this PolterCon.
Poltercon.
PolterCon. And I did a little research here, and I'm actually kind of shocked by this. Uh, Star Trek had that opening weekend had 14 million and Poltergeist had 6.8.
Oh.
I thought Poltergeist, given its cachet, would be higher, much higher opening weekend. But then I started thinking about it. I am a huge Star Trek fan. I was like, oh, people love Star Trek, you know.
And Khan, right? Khan was well reviewed. It
Mm-hmm.
was a good movie, so it wasn't just like some nerdy sci-fi flick, which there still very was like very much so in those days. You still had that like viewpoint of the movie. So this one was big. It had the catchy line, good performances, good reviews. So of course it's going to make some bank. And but I mean, listen, Poltergeist had legs too. I mean, like, horror movies back in the day had legs. Those things could just stay in theaters for forever because it's just a good movie. And what's the second weekend on Poltergeist? I would like to know. Do you have that
I
data on you?
No, I don't have it pulled up on me. I'm willing to bet that Star Trek Wrath of Khan, arguably the best Star Trek movie, you know, pulls it out in the end.
Yeah. And listen, like I would probably start with Raffican and then go to Poltergeist because I wouldn't want to leave the high of Poltergeist into Con. Like I would want to. Horror is like a recharge for me. Like, you get the jump scares, you get the scares, and like you feel recharged. So I think I would do Poltergeist last. What would you do?
I would do Poltergeist first because
Oh,
I want Star Trek. I want to be fully paying attention to Star Trek because I love it. I recently did a rewatch of all of the originals and Next Generation. I didn't do the J.J. Abrams verse yet, the Calvin universe for you nerds out there. Uh, but it's really good. I also have a hot take about Star Trek. I don't think you've ever seen this side of me, Mark.
no.
Um, I think the director's cut of Star Trek: The Motion Picture is one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Oh.
That's not I'm not being facetious. I love that movie, every second of it. Now, the original like theater cut has some problems, but the director's cut is amazing.
I've never watched a director's cut. If you want to add it to our never ending list, we can
Oh
do it.
my god, um, I would do every single Star Trek, every single one. Don't even start.
Well, after Insidious, let's do it. If you
Okay,
want. I'm
I'm
crazy,
totally into that.
David. We've done some fun series already. We've done the monster series, the Underworld series, the Jaws ripoff series. We're about to do the Insidious series after our Jaws ripoff series. So we like series.
It's true. And I did want to say both of these movies on Rotten Tomatoes have about the equal score. They're 88% and 86%. And both of those, I agree that those are the floor. I think they could be way better. Could personally, I would do Star Trek higher. Poltergeist, I think is about right.
Oh gosh. Okay. So do you want to hear what the theme is for mine?
What is the theme?
Okay. So Greta Gerwig directed Barbie. Christopher Nolan directed Oppenheimer. So for all of my movies, I found films that were directed by a man and a woman. So I have a female director and a male director for all of my pairings, and they had to be released on the same weekend. And it was really hard
Wow.
because there just aren't that many gigantic blockbuster films directed by women. You have Captain Marvel, Barbie. I'm not discrediting it. I'm just saying on the list it's kind of thin. So I had to get pretty creative with my picks and kind of look around and find other films. But I think you're gonna like what I came up with. I got some cool stuff for you. So I think you're gonna. Okay.
I love it. So smart.
Okay. So I'm going to 1991, July 12th through 14, and I guess I'm gonna do Boys in the Surf. So we have Point Break and Boys in the Hood. So we have John Singleton and Catherine Bigelow. He was nominated for Best Director for this film. gigantic movie, huge, popular hit, well regarded, and then Point Break, one of my top three favorite action films of the '90s. And I'm gonna be serious here. Like I think that Catherine and also John Singleton, he directed Too Fast Too Furious, my favorite Fast and Furious movie, as you well know, David. He has some of the best commentaries known to man. Wildly intelligent director. I miss John Singleton. The guy is a genius. And then we have Catherine Bigelow, and I think her take on Point Break. I know Die Hard had done it earlier with John McClane, and there were sensitive action heroes and villains before, but just the pairing of Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze together, and the sort of sensitivity there, and there is martial posturing, of course, but there is some like philosophical sides to it, and there is some. I think it greatly influenced action, like Die Hard did, in regards to like who is a hero, who is a villain. This, and also just the eye of Catherine Bigelow, like she framed them like, for lack of a better word, she framed them like the beefcakes they were, right? Like she knew what she was doing. She wanted to give everyone something to watch, and I just dig that about Bigelow. Like the lens was definitely different for her action film than it was in like say a Commando or one of those films that were being made. So I kind of dig the way she shot Point Break. It's cool. So that's my pick.
So I would definitely give that 2 chili dogs review. It's good. So one of the things I limited myself to, I can only pick movies I've seen, and I've never seen Boyz n the Hood. So I looked at this one, and one of the first ones I went to was Point Break, and I was like, can't pick it. You know what, Mark? We forgot to do two things for number one and number two discussions. We have to make Dark Knight or Mamma Mia disappear, and we have to make Poltergeist or Star Trek disappear.
Oof. I mean, Poltergeist is an all-timer. What do we make? Do we make Dark Knight disappear? That's Heath Ledger's performance. That's
okay. I'm gonna have your some viewers are gonna hate me. Yes, get rid of Dark Knight. Dark Knight disappears, collapses, stalls the superhero onslaught of the last 2 decades. We get more interesting adult movies.
Well, Iron Man came out in 2008 too, so we can help that. We can blame that too.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, because oh man, you know what? Maybe Heath Ledger would have survived. Maybe he wouldn't have felt the physical toll of playing the Joker, and then that he could still be around making art. So yeah, let's get rid of Dark Knight and let's get rid of Mamma Mia. I hate it, but let's do it.
No, you can keep Dark Knight. You can keep Mamma Mia, but you have to get rid of Dark Knight. You can't keep both.
Oh, well, let's skip Mamma Mia and just go straight to Mamma Mia too.
So I'm getting rid of Dark Knight. You're getting rid of Mamma Mia.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm getting rid of Poltergeist.
That's good. No, I would too.
Because the whole Tobe Hooper, Spielberg, Hooper didn't direct it, Spielberg directed it. We wouldn't have the bad remake. So yeah, I'm getting rid of Poltergeist.
So I'm going to get rid of Poltergeist too. And I do love that movie. And I can solve the who directed it. It's super, super easy. And I'm shocked that not other people do. Tobe Hooper's name is on the print. He directed it. It says so. When at the end of the movie, it says Tobe Hooper. That means he directed it. And I've done research on this because I did a flow chart of the best Steven Spielberg movies to watch and how to watch them. This came up like immediately. Someone was like, you didn't include Poltergeist. Guess what? Steven Spielberg, his name's not the director on the film, the literal film. And later on, Mark, he said, no, I did not direct this. I was just there.
Stupid. I hate that argument. Yeah. So you know what? I'll get rid of it for that reason.
Yeah. All right. Khan survives another day.
Khan. All right. So what's your second pick?
Okay. I'm bringing us forward through time. Started in the 80s, and I'm going to continue in the 80s. So picture June 22nd, 1985. Cocoon just released. And what was also there? Life Force, Mark.
Cocoon and Life Force?
2 movies.
You're going heavy on Hooper.
I am. He directed Life Force. Those movies do not go together in any seeming way, but I want to know, does it make a good double feature?
Yeah.
Or could it make a good? Okay.
Listen, one of Life Force is just all good. It's just incredible amounts of nudity and high concept, like the sci-fi and bonkersness and cheesiness. And then Cocoon's just a big hug.
Yeah. And they're both, for me, comedies, except Life Force is unintentional
Yeah.
comedy. It's fun. I mean, it's a really fun movie. I know it has a 58% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm like, come on, this movie
It's
is so much
better than
fun.
that. Yeah.
You know who gave it a thumbs up?
Ebert.
Siskel.
Oh, Siskel. Okay.
I don't. Ebert might have. I know for sure Siskel gave it a thumbs up because I watched it, and he was like, "Woo, this is a fun one." And I didn't think that would be a movie he would like.
Yeah, just embrace it, right? Just embrace it's insane. It's kind of a hard, it's like it's yeah. Well, we'll talk. I got you. You won the Oscar MFF Oscar challenge, and I got you the 4K. So we'll have to talk
Yeah.
about it soon.
And so what we end up with is Life Force opened at 4 million and Cocoon opened just shy of 8 million. I think that makes sense. Cocoon is clearly a much more well-known and regarded movie. I'm shocked there hasn't been a remake actually now that I'm talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
So the question I have, Mark, which one do we got to get rid of? Which one's just disappearing from Earth?
Life Force.
I mean, I don't want to get rid of it, but that's the easy choice.
Yeah. You can't get rid of Point Break. And Cocoon's just like I watched that movie. That's Cocoon's a movie as a kid. You could just everyone wanted your grandpa wanted to watch it, your dad wanted to watch it. So you just watched it all the time. Like that was just a movie that dads loved. So you just watched that film.
So for you, are you keeping Point Break or are you keeping Boys in the Hood?
Oh, I'm a John Singleton guy. Oh, I remember like Catherine Bigelow. I'm keeping Boys in the Hood.
Oh wow. And I know how much you love Point Break too.
Yeah. Singleton's my man. Like I love that guy. Like his commentaries on his movies are brilliant. So I'm keeping Boys in the Hood.
We're really learning a lot about each other here. It's true. I did not expect to go this deep, this hard.
Oh, so we're on our third picks now, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go to September 19th through 21st, 2003. This one's crazy outside the box, but I'm going with Underworld. And when that opened, directed by Len Weissman, which opened up to 21.7 million. And then I'm also taking Lost in Translation, which this weekend expanded into 183 theaters and had 2.8 million and would go on to make 119 million total, more than Underworld, which made 96 million. But we have Sofia Coppola's sensitive classic, and we have Len Weissman's bombastic vampire epic with Kate Beckinsale, and we cover the whole franchise. So it's just a fun Lost. So we'll do Lost in the Underworld.
Lost in the Underworld. That's a great one. That's a great one. I should do Cocoon Force. I forgot to do Cocoon Force. Wow. So I looked at that one too, but I didn't sort it right apparently because I didn't see Lost in Translation. Yeah. That's really hard for me if I had to make one disappear, Mark, because you know how much I love Underworld.
It kicked off the female-led like badass franchise with Kate Beckinsale, but you know, Lost in Translation, that soundtrack, like we dedicated an entire episode to that soundtrack. And so it's, you know, Petros from Caged In podcast. Like I have the vinyl. Like I love the movie. It's yeah. I can't. I don't even try. Like
okay,
I'll do it, but just not yet. I'll let you do your picks.
Okay, so no, I'm gonna think about which one we got to get rid of there, and you can come back to it if you want. For me, it's Lost in Translation. If the Men in Black showed up and said one movie's gone, Lost in Translation, and that's because something you actually mentioned, the Kate Beckinsale really kicked off the women kicking ass, like, and it might be actually more influential because it has 6 films.
But Sofia Coppola got the director nomination, the writing. She got a writing nomination for Lost in Translation, which is kind of odd. But the feel of it, the sensory blast, the music. You're hurting my soul, dude. Okay.
The last thing that's whispered is, "Let me go, Mark."
I'll let Lost in Translation go, just simply because the third film of Underworld features Michael Sheen and Bill Nighy in a major budget film fighting to the death. So yeah, that'll never happen again. That's okay, a rarity in human existence. And so yeah, I'll take that.
All right. I'm gonna jump us to the 90s now. December 20th, 1996. Scream versus Beavis and Butthead Do America.
That's like an MTV weekend.
It is. And the question is, does it Oppenheimer? Would you do a double feature?
I would, because the soundtrack for Beavis and Butthead was just dope. Like the roller coaster of love. Scream. Man, Scream leaves you on a high. So I would do Beavis and Butthead, then Scream. And it's the summer, and I was 14. So yeah, that's a perfect doubleheader for me.
Yeah, the highs, man, I would do Butthead and then Scream,
Yeah.
I think.
You
Because
can't do Scream first.
no, no, not at all. Because I mean, I remember the first time I saw Scream, it like changed me, right? It's like one of those experiences for people in my generation and your generation.
Yeah.
Like you hadn't seen anything like it before.
Mm-mm.
And I mean, Beavis and Butthead, you've seen the TV show. It's still amazing. I still think it's really funny, but I gotta do Scream and Butthead. I do think they go together because they're both kind of funny.
I think like Beavis and Butthead features one of my all-time favorite quotes, the TV show, when I think it was Beavis who goes, "I don't like things that suck." Like it just like that's such a I don't like things that suck, and I think that spoke to me as a child, not a child, a teenager, young preteen, teen, whatever. So yeah,
Yeah, I'm
and
gonna
I
get
love
that tattooed across my chest. I don't like things.
like like remember the bumper sticker in the '90s that said "mean people suck." Like just
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So in terms of box opening weekend, I
These were
think you know
big.
this. Well, opening weekend, Scream got 6.3 million.
Oh, but they had legs.
Then it had legs forever,
Mhm.
forever. Beavis and Butthead did 20 million.
Oh,
Mhm.
that was like South Park in '99 money. Like that's big money.
Yeah. Now, can you guess what the Rotten Tomato score is for both of these?
Scream is 80 or 79, 82 or 70, somewhere between 79 and 82.
You're very good. Yeah.
And then,
It's 81.
oh, hey, Beavis and Butthead, 72.
70, totally lower than it needs to be.
Oh,
Absolutely lower than it needs to be. Same with Scream. Finding out that Scream's into like 81s, I was like, what's going on here?
what movie are you watching, bro?
I would be really curious to look at recent reviews of that movie because I bet newer reviewers are judging it against all the meta commentary stuff that came out then, like since then,
Yeah.
and not like when it first came out and you're just like, what is this?
In its context.
Yeah, exactly.
Which one are you getting
Now,
rid of?
oh, oh, I mean, it's Beavis and Butthead. I can't get
Yeah,
rid of
yeah,
Scream.
yeah,
I
yeah.
absolutely can't do it. I watch it every year, probably twice a year.
Deuces. Good night.
I made this too easy for us.
Okay, I have a crazy one for us for our fourth pick. Neither one pulled in a lot of money, but I adore both of them. And it happened in October 1st, 2021, when Titane and Old Henry were released. Now, it wasn't big. So Titane was in 562 theaters, and My Man Old Henry was only in 30, but that was the biggest release. But the thing is, that was the opening weekend for both. Titane is a French film, a French body horror film that features a car impregnating a woman and a lot of murders and just insanity. Directed by Julia Ducournau, who also did Raw. She's just an amazing French director. She's incredible. And then Old Henry was directed by Pazzi Ponziroli, and it stars Tim Blake Nelson. I covered it with Norbert and Bryce for the MFF podcast. I got to edit it and get it released. But it's another movie that is just a really good Western. So we have a French body horror film and then a Western that is very like an alt Western, a very solid, well built, well executed, well shot. Both movies to me are so visually interesting. And as soon as I was done watching them, I immediately went online and read about the lenses used for the movies. So I'm going to take Titane and I'm going to take Old Henry. They were both released October 1st, 2021.
Wow, Mark.
Oh, and we're going to call it wait. Let's see. Oldsmobile Henry. Oh,
I need
man.
to come up with Scream and do a Buttheads. Like
Beavis and Butthead Scream.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was coming up with.
I like Oldsmobile Henry.
I do. I like it too. I do have to admit, I haven't seen either of those movies, though I own Titane, and I just haven't had a chance to sit down and watch it. It's usually right up my alley. But films come out so fast these days, Mark, that I can't keep up.
Dude, Julia's a beast, though, man. She's the person to watch. And I'll say, I think Titane should have been nominated for an Oscar. I think it should have been nominated for Best Picture. It's one of the most visually interesting, bonkers movies. And these are the pieces of art that should be rewarded. They aren't, and I'll never change anything, but that's the kind of art I think that should be rewarded. So yeah, Titane and Old Henry.
You're going to have to pick which one you got to get rid of. I can't help you. I cannot help you. Old Henry? Okay.
Yeah, I love Old Henry. I would lose content because I already recorded the episode, but Titane is such a singular vision.
All right. I'm going to take another jump this time. We're in 2000s. The
Ooh.
year, it's November 21st, 2007. The Mist and No Country for Old Men opened up against each other.
Whoa.
No Country for Mist.
You want people just to be floored and depressed. And
yeah. I mean, quasi Barbenheimer. Yeah.
which one do you leave on?
you, I this is one I was like, I don't know what to do here. I think you watch Mist first and then No Country.
Because yeah, the ending of Mist is really depressing, and then the ending of No Country for Old Men, I loved it, but many felt it was anticlimactic. So you don't want to leave Old Country then jump into the Mist.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. I was
So
stressed out, bro. Like, what are you trying to? Just thinking about that stressful. What are you trying to do to me?
So I guess you're answering the question here. I don't think this is Barbenheimer's. I actually like if you had to do it, Mist first, but I don't think you want to watch these two movies back to back.
No.
I mean, you know, it could get worse. It could be Mist and oh my
There
god,
will be blood.
yeah, but that's
I'm
the best.
done.
Oh, I just blanked on it. Darren Aronofsky's
The Fountain? Oh, Requiem for a Dream?
yeah, The Mist and Requiem for a Dream back to back would break people.
You just broke me talking about it. How do you wait? What did Requiem for a Dream open up against anything?
I didn't look.
Okay, let me look. Requiem for a Dream in 2000. Such a butt kicker. Oh gosh. Okay, so well, you know what you could do? Oh, wait, Bamboozled opened. Oh, so Requiem only opened at 2 theaters. I'm going to go to its widest opening because Meet the Parents also opened. So it expanded into 93 theaters in December 15th through 17th. And during that weekend, we have What Women Want, Requiem for a Dream, and Dude, Where's My Car?
Oh my god. It's definitely Requiem first, Dude, Where's My Car second.
And then
And it Barbenheimer's. It Requiem, dude Requiems.
Dude, Where's My Heroin?
Dude, where's my hair? Oh, you know what's really messed up about that, Mark? I used to have that on DVD, and I would watch it. It's like one of the only DVDs I had, and I would watch it all the time because it's the only thing I had.
Requiem for a Dream?
Yeah, yeah. I know it's insane. I know.
That movie puts you in a blender.
All right, so we have to just one opening weekend comparison. Mist is 8.9 million. No Country is 1.2. Pretty shocking, but you know, No Country went on to win an Oscar. It's doing fine.
Mist is gone.
Mist is gone. Huh.
Listen, Roger Deakins' cinematography in No Country for Old Men is some of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. So I know you had more to talk about, and I jumped in there, but my man TJ's got to go.
But Frank Darbon's like hardcore decision to make a downer movie is one of the best movie moments in 25 years. Like it's talked about still. The moment like, wow, I can't believe this happened. I think I get rid of No Country for Old Men, Mark, and I have a podcast about award-winning movies, Oscar-winning movies.
Like, okay, you know what? I'll get rid of Mist, and when everyone leaves No Country for Old Men, I will just have them stand there while a giant fist spins around in the air, then punches them in the gut, and I'll be like, "That's what you would have felt watching The Mist."
And you feel better.
Like,
just feels better.
I would just have a burly person sock people in their stomachs when they leave No Country for the Old Men, and be like, "That's what The Mist would have felt like," and then we're solved.
Just a quick comparison. Rotten Tomatoes has Mist at 72, which I think is a little low, but you know, about right. And
yeah, I mean, it's gnarly, dude. Like,
yeah, really hard. And then No Country's at 93, and it's a great movie. Absolutely.
Okay, so we're down to our last ones, huh?
We are down to our last ones.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta think of a title real quick. Okay, I have a really good one. So in September 18th through 20th in 2009, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and Jennifer's Body were released. And we can call it Cloudy with a Chance of Succubus.
I love that pairing. 100% love that pairing. Barbenheimer's. Barbenheimer's so hard.
I was waiting for a butt, but yeah, no, you just
no. It just straight Barbenheimer's. I did a podcast about Jennifer's Body I really, really like that movie. I revisited it, totally maligned. And I feel like 5 or 6 years ago, everyone realized it. And it's now like rising in
Yeah.
cult classic. It's a rising cult classic. It's
I've
a
been
really great movie.
I've been championing it for years. We covered on MFF. It's a movie that I've always liked, but you gotta understand at the time Megan Fox was catching a ton of shit. I think Diablo Cody was catching some flack because oh, Juno is she's just writing Juno, I think people just did not like Diablo Cody's scripts at the time. So it just came on at this really odd moment of this disdain, like, right? Like the way they market it about just all about Megan Fox. They didn't market it about it being an actual good film with a genuinely scary performance by Adam
Yeah.
Brody. That
Yeah.
scene where they're singing Jenny and she's screaming, like it's a cruel moment. And it's also a funny movie. Now, I do think some of the writing definitely feels like writing, like, hey, Colgate, and like stuff like that, but it's still a really solid film. And Karen Kusama is just an excellent director and it's shot really well. And Amanda Seyfried from Mamma Mia fame, she's never not good. It's just a funny, good movie. And Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs is just a burst of love life, Lord and Miller and a good time. So, both are, I'm not going to say both were hits at the time, but both are popular. Both people like both of them. Cloudy got a sequel. Jennifer's Body is a cult classic now. So it felt right to do that. And also I want to keep my man and woman director combos going. So it took a while to find, but I found it.
That's amazing. Yeah. Wow. Good pick. Good pick. I mean, I would get rid of Cloudy with a Chance of
Yeah,
Meatballs if
yeah,
I had to.
yeah.
I think that's obvious.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, it's fun. People had fun with it, but I think the conversation around Jennifer's Body is much more interesting.
yeah. I mean, I remember watching the trailers, and one of the reasons I didn't go is because it was marketed as a sex comedy, basically.
Yeah,
And I
that's
was like,
it.
I'm not interested in this. And then later on, I was like, oh, this movie's legit good. What?
2009, man, it just wasn't the time for, just wasn't the time for.
New metal
Uh,
had a strong hold on us.
yeah, exactly. It was very bro centric, but also, what's funny during this time, like All About Steve and Gamer were released 2 weeks prior. That'd be a crazy weird doubleheader.
Ooh, yeah.
And then let's see, The Final Destination and no, the two horror movies, Inglorious Bastards. No, yeah, no, but I like, yeah, but I think I picked right. I'm happy with how I went. Oh, dude, in August 14 through 16, 2009, District 9 and the Time Traveler's Wife.
I mean, I've never seen a time traveler's wife, so I can't judge it. I do really love District 9.
And Ponyo. But yeah,
Oh, Ponyo versus District 9.
District Fish.
Okay, okay. I mean, if you get rid of District 9, Neil Blomkamp doesn't have a career. And because he doesn't have a career, he will not be able to direct Gran Torino opening this month, which already has a great review in some like crazy, I think it's Variety, but like was like, this movie shouldn't work and it's amazing.
Well, I like the story, right? Like as opposed to just doing like a video game adaptation, like, no, based on a true story, someone actually played this game and hit it big. A Gran Turismo, yeah, that's what it is. I'm saying Gran Torino, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm
Excellent.
yeah. All right. So
All
what's your
right.
final?
My final, go all the way back, almost a decade mark to October 3rd, 2014. Two movies went head to head. They're known as Anna Girl, Annabelle, and Gone Girl. And I know, but let me set this up for you. They both had an opening weekend
Huge.
about equal. So
Yeah.
37.1 for Annabelle and 37.5 for Gone Girl. That is huge. Giant, giant, giant. However, the Rotten Tomato score tells a different story. Annabelle is at 28% and Gone Girl is at 88%.
That's fair.
So,
Annabelle is not good. It was a
hey,
cash machine.
I like it. It's
Oh, I
also
like the
not great.
sequels. I like the sequels a lot more.
So, well,
Gone
nothing.
Girl,
So
though,
here's the thing.
bro. Rosamund Pike.
Oh, it's so good. It's so creepy. That movie was fantastic. So, does it actually Anna Girl?
I mean, one's like a jump scare heavy movie. The other one's a psychological thriller based on a book. I think they're too similar in tone because like it's Barbie and Oppenheimer. So then you have
Mm.
Annabelle and Gone Girl. Both have murders. But I mean, I don't even know if they. What do you watch? So I don't even know. Gone Girl's so good. I don't know if I would like it as much if I just came out of Annabelle, and I don't know if I would like it as much if I ended with Annabelle. If it was Annabelle comes home, Gone Girl she comes home, then that'd be awesome. I would say somewhat. That's my answer.
All right, I don't think it goes together. I just don't. I don't. This is like too odd. This is like I don't know. I don't know. Peanut butter and Gouda, right? It just does not go together.
I mean, I'd try that.
I've tried peanut butter and cheese when I was little because I was like, two things I like. What if they make something I like? Again, they do not. They did. It failed so hard. But the tones are they just don't go well together. And honestly, Annabelle is a pretty straightforward movie. There's some good jump scares parts to it, but it ultimately has no impact on like the series, and no like greater impact because there's no stakes. Like, and I don't want to spoil it, but the ending is I think problematic. So the question is, if one of these have to disappear, that becomes much harder to talk about, because I think the general Conjuring universe is a lot of fun. I love it. Annabelle is a significant part of it. I don't know if we would get Annabelle Comes Home, which I think is a great, fun movie. I'm sure we would get Conjuring 3. Or would we get the Conjuring 3? I don't know.
Gone Girl goes. I
think,
want. I love what James Wan has done.
Okay. I mean, I was talking myself into it, but it is a superior movie, but we got to keep the Conjuring universe intact.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, the only reason we keep Annabelle is to keep the Conjuring universe intact. Gone Girl is 7,000 times the movie that Annabelle is. And Rosamund Pike, you know what though? Rosamund Pike didn't win an Oscar. She should have. So
yeah,
if she won an Oscar, I would have kept it. But since she didn't win, get rid of it.
You're finding out what I have found out. It's taken me like 7 years. The Oscars get it wrong a lot.
Oh yeah.
I've done my deep research on like all of it.
I had to do the trends of how old every single winner was, and like how old they won and how many years they were and how many films they did when they won it. And I know how rigged it is and how everything's skewed, but it still annoys me. It's like, hey, I understand the Oscars, but they still really piss me off because some of them are really, sometimes I feel like the winner's pretty clear.
Yeah.
I mean, there's billions of people, so that I'm not talking from like a point of hubris. I just think sometimes you watch these movies and you're like, that can't lose. And then it does.
Yeah.
Because
what I always tell people that the Oscars are a industry award, and you need to treat it as such. These are people within the industry voting for other people within the industry, and multiple things go into making a film other than if it's good or not. So that usually ends up like manifesting in the 10 best picture noms.
That's true. And then the one that gets the most fives wins because it's not divisive.
Exactly. It's a what was it?
It's the least annoying.
It's not a compromise vote. I can't.
Well, they rank all 10, and the one with like the lowest ranking wins. Like it's the movie that doesn't have them. Like one movie could get half ones and half tens. Another could be 4 through everything and win. So it's just the movie that is I think it's the least divisive movie. That's what I'm saying.
The consensus vote, because it's ranked choice voting, basically.
And it's like, I don't hate this and I don't love it, so I'll give it 4.
Mark, those are all the movies I have. I have some weird ones that I think we haven't talked about. I didn't do a full research into this, but you can check me on it. So I believe The Matrix opened up against 10 Things I Hate About You on March 31st, 1999.
In 95, Clueless and Kids opened.
Wow. Oh my God. Well, one, does The Matrix and 10 Things I Hate About You.
Yeah, that's a beautiful.
What would you see first?
10 Things I Hate About Code. Yeah. Which one would I watch first? I would have to see 10 Things because Matrix would just blow the hell out of my mind. Like that was it.
And the other one, Indecent Proposal and Sandlot. Like Indecent Baseball? I don't know.
Let's see. The Sandlot, the Indecent Proposal, the
Indecent Sandlot,
the Indecent Quicksand. I don't even know what that means. Indecent Lot.
I have a lot more, but I don't want to take up all of our time. So yeah, Mark, this is Will It Barbenheimer. I think it was fun.
Yeah, we did it. This was a great time, man. Thank you for recommending it.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Hey, where can people find you, David?
Yeah, so I am on all of social medias at It's Me, David Cross. I'm hanging out on Blue Sky now more than Twitter, though I am somewhat pretty active on Twitter. I also co-host Award Wieners, which we are an irregular podcast, and we're covering all the Best Picture winners. Next up for us is, wow, I just blanked on it. It's a movie about a film producer who did Showboat. It's a long one. It's like 3 hours.
Gosh, I got a Blue Sky invite. I got to get on there.
I recommend it. It reminds me of Twitter of the old days. It's very fun.
Okay, I'll get on there. That sounds good.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Mark, I've always wanted to ask you, where can people find you?
it's Mark Hoffmeyer, Movies, Films, and Flicks, everywhere. Here's one thing though. We have a good audience here at Movies, Films, and Flicks, and I just want to hear from y'all. So like, just shoot me a message. Like, let me know who you are. Let me know if there's a movie you want to hear about. Like just talk to us. let us know. Say hi. Like,
or a weird idea.
Yeah, just shoot us a question. We'll do an episode. Just say hi. That's all I want. All right, David. This was great, man. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
All right. So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for David Cross, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.